No. It didn't say. There's actually just ASMR and chill plus paranormal. A little turny thing on my tripod. Well, my husband's like, you gotta push in the other end, and then the rivet part comes out, and it's like, and then he locked it to where I was like, well, I can't adjust it now. So he's like, oh, well, you wanted it locked. I was like, yeah, but I gotta adjust it to where it needs to be. And then he loosened it up and went back in the house, and I'm like, I give up. I put medical tape on the thing that holds it up. He's gonna have to take it apart later and check it out. But he ain't doing it while I'm live streaming. It's kind of humid outside tonight. It's about 10:01. Welcome, Keegan. It says music and chill, but it didn't save my description. I put ASMR and chill plus paranormal, but I just started the live stream, so I'm kind of letting it roll for a minute while I'm trying to think of some paranormal stories. I have some. I just gotta get myself in that mindset. Oh my gosh. It is humid. Freaking Florida weather. Welcome, Zach. I'm kind of giving it a minute. I'm trying to think of some paranormal stories, encounters, and stuff that I've witnessed and stuff, but kind of let it roll for a minute since I just started. Oh my God, Florida is humid. It's not even the heat with Florida, it's the humidity. The dry humidity. Okay, I'm trying to think of some, because my mom always used to love picking all the old, historical houses and the houses from the 1950s and 60s and 70s. So from a young age, there's stories, some old houses, but I'm trying to get the good ones up there. I got one, and I'm drinking me some Jack with some cola. Some cola. Okay, I got quite a few. I'm trying to think. I'm like, please don't be in the memory loss category, but no, I do got some. And I'm sure as I tell them, I'm pretty sure more will come out. Welcome to the stream. The title kind of didn't save. It's supposed to be ASMR and chill plus paranormal. So paranormal stories. So, okay, give it a minute, a couple minutes. It's nice out here. It's a little humid and there's a little bit of a breeze, but it is nice out here. My hair's so thin, fuck it. I'm just gonna put it in little ponytails until I start to get tension, then I have to take it out again. Hide my hair is thin and wrap that thing like multiple times. And again, I dye my hair like it's nobody's business. Has that swipe right thing. I guess they added some new features to the live streams. Okay, let's see. Okay, I got one. So, if you know, you know. I was adopted from the hospital. And, my biological mother's story was that OCD did not level. She was in between homes and she couldn't afford to take care of me. And my adopted mother, which I say my ad mother, was her best friend. Yeah, that's fun. But she was a good woman. Don't get me wrong, Sally was a really good woman. But, you know, they have that theory, and of course, hard-headed and stubborn people are like, no, my kids are not going to be like that. Or I'm not going to be like that when I'm raising my kids. But, like, my mom used to say to one of her boyfriends, which he likes to claim to be my stepdad, but he wasn't really. He was there, but he wasn't there, if you get me. Oh, there it is. But she would always constantly tell him, "Oh, you don't love me if you don't beat me," type of thing. And I'm like, what kind of shit is that? Like, what is that? Like, for real, you just said that. So, and I've seen her, like, she turned my room into, like, a storage unit. So, we had two couches, one on each side, and she slept on one, and I slept on the other. And I've seen her get R&R'd at, like, 8, 9 years old. But, so, you know, because basically we were in close quarters, is basically my point. But, so, yeah. But, the point to that was to tell you kind of the beginning of it. And, like, that was her story, like what I said. But I know, and I have 5 aunts. I talked to, like, I think 4 of them. I'm not sure if I talked to all 5 or not, but I talked to 4 of them, and all their stories are the same. Their stories never change. She was always wanting to be, like, in the hippie phase and just, you know, do her, basically. You know that video I made, like, if you don't want kids, close your eyes. Yeah, she was kind of in that. I kind of put her in that. Her name is Lynn. And I was like, well, let me post a couple of videos, a couple of duets with her and see how my community, you know, react to her. Because I'm like, if they're paying attention, they'll be like, yeah, fuck that bitch, you know, basically, like, no likes, no replay, you know, whatever. So I posted, I think, 3 or 4 of them. And I got like 1 or 2 likes on the videos or whatever. And I was like, alright, people be paying attention. You know what I'm saying? That's one series of videos. I was like, okay. I see you. But, you know, all my aunts basically said, you know, bullshit. She had been like, she was changing around. You know, like, whatever. And she was just a nasty person. And if you know, you know, with my earlier stories when I started Courage Haven of what I have said, you know, about her. So, and I've tried, you know, being an influencer and stuff like that. I've tried multiple, like, times to give her a chance, because I found her. And of course, the first conversation, she's like, "How dare you? You almost got me fired from my job." I'm gonna fight. Don't be like, call me, leave me like voicemail on, like, I've never met this woman or spoken to this woman in my life, and she leaves a voicemail on my phone talking about, "It's your mother, I love you." Bitch, I'm like 28 years old, and you know, so that's how, you know, that started. But anyways, back to what we're supposed to be on. This is not a video like that. I am going to rewatch this live stream and repost it and stuff like that on my videos or whatever. But if you would like me to do a live stream and spill the tea on the family stuff, then you can post a crown. After I repost this to my videos, you can repost a crown in the comments or whatever. And I will, but that's gonna be some Jerry Springer shit, I tell you. It's amazing how I made it out sane. And that's putting it lightly. But alright, I got one for you. Let's not get off track. I'm trying to think of like the earliest memory I have. So I remember, like, from the time we moved to Florida when I was 5. From there, I lived on a farm from like 5 to like 7 or 8. Because I moved to, like, if you know Florida, you know Volusia County. I moved to Mango Tree Estate, I believe, when I was 9 years old. So from 5 to 8, I lived on a little smart farm. It was like a little tiny, like, shack, like 2-bedroom cabin, like, thing, and we were in the woods. We had chicken, we had geese, we had chicks. My mom had a sheepdog. I don't know why, because we didn't have sheep. But he was a good dog. Can't remember. Wolf. She named him Wolf. But, you know, we were surrounded like woods, just complete woods. And there was a chicken coop, you know, there was stuff like that. But, and it was my stepdad Vern will sit there and say it was him. But it was my dad Billy at the time. And then he came in. I don't know when Vern came in, but he came into the farm. And Billy moved back to Maine. But ever since, like, the first day, I remember the first day we moved in there, and I walked in, she's like, go check it. They would call me KK. And she's like, check it out, KK, you know, go check out the house, go see, go pick your room. You know how they do when you move in. I was like, alright, but the second I stepped in the front door, like, if you know, you know. But the second I stepped in the front door, I just kind of had to breathe a little bit because it was really overwhelming. And I just stood there for like 5 minutes, I swear to God. I don't know if I was in a trance or if I was, like, I was frozen and, like, at the door. And she's like, what are you waiting for? She's like, go check out the house. Go pick your room. And I stood there for a minute, and I'm like, huh, yeah, okay. So, and then I kind of, shook it off, and I went in there, and I was a pretty funky looking kid. I'll post some pictures, but I was a pretty funky looking kid. I had white hair when I was little. Like straight, like snow white hair. I wish I would have kept that, and I've tried to dye my hair white, but it always turns out like blonde. And then my daughter's like, you gotta bleach your hair first, and I've done that, and then when I bleach my hair gets super thin. Anyways, but I was like, okay, I shook it off, and I was really, 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 really nervous. This is like the first house we moved since we moved to Florida. I was really, really nervous, and I was like, all right. Kind of like, went like that. And I was like, Mom, will you come with me? And I was like, why don't you guys come in here too? And I was just like, are you scared? And I'm like, she's like, are you scared, Kiki? And I'm like, well, there's a weird feeling in here. She goes, oh my God, here we go again with your fucking feelings. And I'm like, you think I'm making this up? Like, a normal kid would just run in the house, go running and go find in their room and, all excited and whatever, because they moved into, their own place or whatever, and they can go play in the woods. And, if you're an 80s, 90s baby, you know what I'm talking about. Tree forts and stuff like that. Tree swings. Swinging on the vines. But, those are the days. Watching your friends act stupid. But, she's like, oh my God, you're so dramatic. This will tell you a little tidbit too, like through the ghost stories. And she's like, all right, come on, let's go, Bill. She's like, we gotta go inside because she's scared. I want to buy you night lights and stuff like that for your room. And I'm just looking at her like, I can't say you're an asshole, but you're really being an asshole. Just give her that look like you're being an asshole. And so we walked inside, and I knew this was going to be... That's when my night terror started. And I knew. This was way before I started watching Wes Craven. Mind you, I don't even think he was out that long. Like, I think he came out in the 90s, or 89, or... I think it was like 89 or something like that. But this is way before that, so... whatever. That fear don't apply. But that first night was fine. It was nothing. Like, it was like a normal night. First night in your house, like, until 3 a.m. And I'm like, I want this room. And of course, I would pick the room that had the most activity. And with all that stuff, you would think that I would get, like, little sensors that be like, you don't want this room. But, you can understand, like, when I was a kid, I didn't understand the stuff, and a lot of the time, like, through my childhood, or through my teenhood, or even a young teenager, I thought I was going crazy. I literally thought I was losing my mind. I don't know, but it would believe me, and basically how it goes. If you're in that zone, But I was like, forget it. I don't need somebody to believe me for something to be true. So I just kind of like kept it to myself. I always feel like there's a hair floating around. But, yeah. So, I know you're like, you can't just leave us hanging. You're like 3 a.m. Like, you need to finish that story. No, I got you. I'm not gonna, what the fuck? My car just had to go pull out, and I called it on the brakes. Hold on. Anyways, so, are you looking for somebody?
Yeah, are you, headed?
No.
Okay. Somebody put 805 South Ridgewood.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I'll have to get my husband. Frank, will you come here? There's a delivery. I don't know what trailer needs it. There's a stupid delivery. I don't know what trailer it's going to. I'm live streaming. I'm not. I'm just saying I don't know what trailer it is. I'm live streaming. You need to come out here and deal with it.
You know anyone named, what were you looking for? You know anyone named Amanda?
Amanda. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's supposed to be the white one down there. Is the only one I know that has an Amanda.
Knock my damn stand over.
That white Dodge truck
Where the
is?
truck is?
Yeah, it's 321 right there. That's the only one.
Hold on.
Did they give you a lot number?
No, and they didn't answer the phone when I called, so thank you.
That's the only one I know with an Amanda.
Okay, thank you so
Yep.
much. I appreciate it. You guys have a great night.
You too.
And this thing don't work because I can't. Can you, like right there, can you, it goes forward. So it's forward to tighten it? Okay, I was pushing it back. I don't know. I'm telling ghost stories.
That's the only Amanda I know.
I don't know, and I don't care really. I don't mess with nobody in this trailer park. It's all drama. Anyway, I don't do drama. I really don't. But anyways, we ate dinner. I think she made, what'd she make that night? I think she made her famous green bean casserole. I don't really know, like, all the ingredients that she used in it. I know that there was, like, cans of, like, whole tomato and lasagna, and she had, like, hamburger meat and cheese, of course. She had, like, 3 different, so I think she had the Mexican 3 different cheese. But, oh my god. But anyways, we had that night. I remember. I don't even remember what else she had in it, but, you know, she's not here no more, so it's like, I have to look up green bean casserole online to figure out what she used when I'm looking at the ingredients. But I've been watching, Kitchen Witches, so I've been writing down some recipes. I have a cookbook actually that I wrote down in a notebook that's got like 35, 36, 37, something like, maybe even like 40 recipes. So after I repost this, or you can even put a crown in the comments or whatever in the chat, but maybe I'll make videos where I'll run down my different recipes that I have that I make on a normal basis. But let's get back to it. So we had green bean casserole. And then she's like, go get washed up and go get ready for bed. Get your jammies on, get ready for bed. I'm like, alright, whatever. So, and this was a 2-story house. This wasn't like the house I talk about in Eastern Atlanta, the brown house on the beach side. No. Not there yet. I was 7. We only stayed in this house for like I think it was like under a year, right under a year. It was that bad. But so I was like, alright, so I went in the bathroom and put my clothes on the sink, and I'm like 6. And so I go to jump in the shower and I turn on the water and I go into my dresser to go get my clean clothes, and I got the water running because I got the shower running because I'm trying to wait for the water heater to heat up. It'll be hot when I go in there. I even do that now. And I'd go back in there and the shower would be off. And I'm like, I swear I turned the shower head on. And it would be off. And I'd turn it back on. And I'd stand there with my hands on my hips like this, you know, like. And sure as shit, it turned off. And I called my mom and I'm like, how am I going to take a shower? The shower head won't even stay on. And she's like, KK, stop messing with me. So I was like, alright, I gotta improvise. I gotta be creative about this. But when I actually got in the shower, it didn't shut off. I was like, this is weird. So I took my shower, got my jammy, whatever. And I got into bed. I wore, my mom would buy me these, like, zip-up onesie things with the feet. They got the feet in them and got the plastic shit on the bottom. Well, I'm like, I'm not 3 no more, but there was zip up the front, yeah. Okay. So, and you know, I'd end up like putting on a t-shirt and a pair of shorts because it is so hot in there. Now, I know like when I make videos, I kind of sound sometimes like I'm coming off like some sort of way or whatever. Because you got a lot of spiritual people out there who want to be like, this is this and this and that. But the real reality to it, I'm sorry, I was born into the spiritual realm and I've been living in it since I came out of the womb. So my experiences, this is, you know, if you ain't got no problem with your AC, you ain't never had no problem with your AC. You ain't got no problem with keeping your home cooled and, you know, whatever. But with that said, if your home is like really, 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 really hot at one time of a point, but yet ineffective at another. Now, demonic presences or poltergeists or anything of that nature will put off heat. Now they're like, oh, if there's a ghost in the area, it will get cold, it will get chilly. Yes, but if there's a poltergeist or a demon or something of that genre, they put off heat. Obviously, everybody knows they feed off of anger and fear and emotion and upsetting, getting upset and stuff like that. But demons put off heat. It's not like, oh, I feel chilly. Well, that could be a spirit or a ghost, but if it's a demon, it will be hot. And I guess super hot in my trailer in my living room, and we live across the street from a cemetery. And spirits, I know people are gonna think I'm crazy, but spirits try to talk to me and communicate with me, and I'm just like, I don't want to go in that lane because this may sound a little unhinged, but I've had a conversation with spirits sitting out here on the porch, and I'm like, dude, this is the 20th century. This is not like Ghost Whisper, okay? You can't go to people's houses. You can't say this, or that, or somebody's communicating with me because they're gonna say I'm freaking crazy. They're gonna call the cops at me, and I'm gonna be hauled off into like a white coat situation. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Leave me alone. I'm not doing it. That was like a big thing when I was a kid. Like, they wouldn't leave me alone. And I'm like, stop. Oh my god. I wasn't able to shut it off until I was like 17. And I don't know. I've resorted to everything. And I finally I don't even remember what it was because I don't have it anymore. And I did have it written down. But I did this chant thing that I made up. And I haven't had an issue. But anyways, this house, I had that's where my night terrors started, in this house. So, I'm laying there, I put the sheets on me. Wow, no face detected, my ass. That's a good thing though, at least it doesn't say multiple faces connected or detected. I get that a lot. But so I'm laying there, I got the sheets over me, and I'm comfortable. It feels alright in my room. There's not like, you know, a cutting kind of like aura feeling in the room. So I'm like, alright, maybe I was just overthinking it. Maybe I was just a little nervous as being a new house and, you know, the stuff that your mom would tell you. And I thought I saw something in the corner. Like, you know, where my closet was, and then the corner. And I was like, no, my mind's playing tricks on me. I'm just gonna go to sleep. So I went to sleep. And then I had one of those little clocks on my nightstand that had the digital times that flipped. The time flipped on the black slides. And I remember I heard a big, loud bang. And I went like this and I jumped up. And I'm wiping my eyes and kind of like flickering my eyes, and I'm looking around the room, and I don't see anything. I'm laying down, mind you, at this point, and I know it sounds fucking stupid, and I know there's a lot of the fucking stupid poltergeist movies out there with the thing, but I was 6, and I heard just like that, or something like that. It was very low key, and I'm looking in my room. I didn't have no lights. My light was off. My door was closed because she was an asshole. You know, when I'm one of those that keep the door cracked. She's like, oh, stop being a baby, and, you know, whatever. This will help you get over your fears type of thing. And there was nothing. I didn't see anything in my room. Didn't see anything in my corners. I wasn't getting out of bed. Screw that. But then I just laid down and I closed my eyes, and I heard it. It was longer. It was like that, and then it started to get louder. And I didn't look. I just pulled the blanket over my head, and I swear to God, I was like, I'm not looking. Like when I was a kid, I was a chicken shit when it came to the paranormal. Like so bad, I was chicken shit. And I was shaking, and I'm like, I don't want to look, but I want to look. And if I look, is the face gonna, oh, I didn't know. And I was like, it's like right. You know, you always think that if you pull the blanket down, it's gonna be like right there. And that was my thing, and I was like, I don't want to look, but I need to look because I have to be able to go back to sleep. So, and I'm going like this, and I'm looking at the clock, and it's 3:18. And I'm like, I didn't know about the whole 3 a.m. stuff at that time. I don't even think that was a thing at that time, but it was 3:18. And then I saw this like shadow of like a sleeve like out of the corner of the blanket, and I was like, oh, in my head I was like, oh fuck. So I pulled the blanket over my head real quick, and then my mom, because I yelled, oh. And my mom came boarding down the hallway, and she opened the door, and she goes, what did you just say? And I said, oh, smut. And then when I looked up, she's like, you take your butt to sleep right now. It's 3:18 in the morning. And before I was like, can I sleep in your room tonight? She goes, no, you can't sleep in my room tonight. She says, I don't need you kicking me in my head like last time. And I tossed and turned a lot. I always do it. So it's like, fuck. And my family cursed a lot, so I would say it when no one's around. But and then I forgot about it for a second, and I looked up like this, and I swear to God, I don't know if it was a lady, I don't know if it was a man, I don't know if it was even human, but it was like a black, like, and she closed my door again. She didn't even leave it, you know, cracked open, like, you're not even concerned, like, you know, but, and it had this like black thing, and it was coming down kind of like a train. It was coming down like you know how witches have the V things cut out on the bottom of their, yeah, it was kind of like that, and it was torn and ripped, and once I noticed it was a female. Once I looked at her, I couldn't look away. It was like I was locked on, and the fear was just like, I couldn't feel anything. It was like everything of me was like numb. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I couldn't nothing. And she just kept doing that. And then she got closer to my face. And I went like this to try to punch her. I was like, get the fuck away from me. And I didn't say anything. I went to try to punch her in the face. And like, I swear to God, it was like a black smoke, and it just kind of like went out. I ran up, opened my window, and I was like, get out, get out. I was like, get out of my room. And I didn't think it would go out my window, but it went out my window. I guess it went out my window and came in my front door because I ran down the stairs. really, really fast, and I didn't even think about falling, tripping, or stump rolling, or nothing. I ran down the stairs, dude. Like, I don't know how I didn't wake up my mom. And then when I got down to the bottom of the stairs, there's the living room with a TV, and there's a rocking chair. I swear to God, this rocking chair was here when we moved into the house, and it was still there. And I went down, and it was freaking rocking back and forth, like it was like it needed to be exercised. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can't escape. It's in my room. It's in my living room. So I went into the kitchen, and then planes started flying around the kitchen, and that woke my mom up. And then she came out, and she came in the kitchen. She goes, look at my kitchen. She goes, it's destroyed. She goes, what the hell have you been doing in here? She goes, can't you just go to bed and stay asleep for one night? She goes, why do you have to make my life a living hell? I said, I didn't do this. I just ran down the stairs, came into the kitchen. The rocking chair was rocking. I said, and then the pan started flying in the kitchen. She goes, I am so sick and tired of your tall tales. She goes, get your ass back to bed. And she goes, go to sleep now. I said, all right, but I'm going to crack my door. Do not close it all the way. And she goes, I'll do what I please. This is my house. So that was that, and I swear to God, and I bugged her and bugged her and bugged her and bugged her every single day. I annoyed the out of her until she's like, alright, and I heard her and Billy talking. She's like, we gotta leave because she's not gonna let it go. She's gonna have to shut the up about this damn house. Let's just try to find somewhere else. And we moved. But every time we'd move, it would be the same situation, different things occurring, but it would always, she'd like pick old houses, like old houses. And then when she actually talked to the landlord, she found out that the house went back to freaking 1900s, that there was like a military, like Civil War, like burial grounds at her house that our camp sat on, and just, well, it was insane. Like, I would see a deer like in our yard at night, and I would go to run over. I know you don't run up to deer because they can drop kick you in your face or ram you or, you know, bite you, whatever. I loved animals. I love nature. But when I want to run up to it, it would disappear. Like, you know, they run off. You hear them on the ground, you know, running, and they scurry off into the woods or whatever. It just poofed. And I'm like, where'd it go? Where'd it go? And then, you know, not Vern, he didn't come in the picture yet. It was like 2 weeks before. And then Billy was like, what are you doing out here? It's 9 o'clock at night. And I was like, I went up to pet the deer, and it was a doe. It was a baby doe. And I was like, when I ran up to it, it disappeared. It wasn't there. It was gone. She goes, because my mom walked out right behind him. She goes, are you sleepwalking again? I was like, I don't sleepwalk. I come out here at night because it's quiet, and I like the crickets and the frogs and just, you know, the ambiance of night. Like, yeah, I was like that as a kid. And she goes, get your ass in bed. You know, she's like, I couldn't enjoy nothing. But, that was that story. And let me tell you, I'd be watching, at 6 years old, I don't know, I think I was watching, like, Mickey Mouse at that time. And then they'd be upstairs arguing, and I would, like, hear the kitchen sink turn on, and the water's running, and she'd come down and blame it on me, and you left the water on, and it'd be a big, you know, whatever. And I'm like, you're not catching on to this. You're really not even grasping. And she's all that, I'm a Christian, blah, 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 blah. You know, and I'm like, I'm a Christian too, but if I see something that I can't explain, hello, I see it like I see you. You can't explain that. It was so freaking crazy. Trying to think of another wild story. Oh, it's not really a paranormal thing, and a lot of people don't believe me, but I don't care. My theory is I don't need somebody to believe me for something to be true. But there was a story, like, when I was a kid. I think I was 14. where like I still didn't understand my stuff, and it was all over the place. It was out of freaking control. Things would happen, and I'd be like, I don't know, like I wouldn't pin it to me because I wouldn't think I would, and just stuff would happen, freak shit. So I don't know. Me and my mom, she had like a '91 Honda Accord, '91 or '93. But 91, 92, or 93, I don't remember which. But anyways, we're driving down US 1, 4-lane highway. And we were arguing, and we got into a bad argument. I don't even know what it was about. And I just got so mad. So mad. Like, I was so mad. Like, if I wasn't worried about hurting myself or something, I just, like, open the door and, like, jump out, like, roll down it. I didn't care. I was so mad. I didn't even want to be in the car with her. I was just pissed off. And, younger teenagers they get mad at their parents. They get mad. And I was just staring straight ahead, at the traffic while she's driving. I'm just pissed off. And it was raining. It actually started raining. And no, I don't think I did that. Yes, I'm native, and I know how to do the rain dance and stuff like that, but I've never done it. So that's not me. That's not me. That's an act of nature. Is why it started raining. But what I'm talking about comes after. So we're driving down the road and it's really quiet. Like she's not talking. I'm not talking. Nobody's saying nothing. And out of nowhere, I'm just staring at this car in front of us. And I'm a teenager. I don't know no better. I'm like 14, and I'm not gonna think I got these, and I thought I was really losing my mind. I was going crazy, and I couldn't tell anybody because they freaking put me mentally, whatever. So I'm just fixated on this white car. I think it was a Corolla. I was like, teenagers, they want to take their anger out on other people, and I'm like, oh my god, you're so freaking slow. Wish you'd just freaking, hydroplane and freaking spin out already and get the fuck out of the way, And I'm like, ain't not gonna happen. You're just pissed off, having an attitude. And it did. I'm staring at the car, and the acid started, and I was like, and then, like, she swerved. We hydroplane. The car does a complete 360. We're facing the total opposite direction towards traffic. I'm freaking fuck out. I'm like, you don't know how to fucking drive. You got your license out of a Cracker Jack box. You shouldn't have your license. You should not be on the fucking road. And she's like, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. It's raining and we hydroplane. We're facing traffic. How are you going to get out of this? I don't know how we got out of that, but I know that she was able to somehow turn the car around. And we went down the road. But I swear to God, I thought we were going to die that day. And when we got home, I kept replaying it over in my head. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. I'm like, coincidence. It was a coincidence. I took it as a coincidence because I'm like, shit like that don't happen. That don't happen. I've waked up with like 9 years old. My mom had like drank and took her medication with her alcohol. And I would just sit straight up with my eyes closed, just out of nowhere, look over to her, not even know what's going on, and just call like the ambulance and stuff, and it saved her life. Doctor's like, oh, if you would have waited 5 minutes later, she'd been. And I didn't know this shit. I'm like, where is this coming from? And I would have elders. Oh my god, my mom had this one friend. She was a medium. She was an elder. But every time she would tell somebody's, friends of my mom's story, she would tell them, read them or whatever. And she was always spot on. And she didn't have no cell phone or nothing like. She had a flip phone. It was one of those little tiny black flip phones with hard plastic ones. I think it was like a boost phone. But just to say, she didn't Google shit. But she was always on point, and she talked about and told them stuff that like nobody knew, that they didn't, whatever. And the point to that, like, She always tell me, she's like, how old are you? And I'm like, 14. And she would just, and I'm like, well, why are you looking at me like that? She said, you don't know. I said, I don't know what. I'm like, she says, you're born with an old soul. She goes, you don't understand or you don't realize that, like, you feel a little different. And I'm like, yeah, but what do you mean I was born with an old soul? And you're like, the person's saying, whoa. She was like from the 1800s. She was 21 when she died. She was hung. And I'm like, I know where this is going. And she goes, well, yeah. But she said all she did was heal her mom from cancer. And miraculously, she was healed. I don't know the story. I don't know, I have very little information, so I can't, like, research it. And, how it went out, how it played out. And, yeah. She was hung and then she was burned. Like, what a way to go out. And that's really all I know about that. But I was like, she's like, you'll understand when you get older. And a lot of people, like a lot of elders would tell me stuff like that. Like, I had an older, it was freaking weird, dude. She was like one of my mom's really good friends. And she says, she held her hand like this, and she held it like that for like 5 minutes. I'm like, she says, put your palm of your hand on top of my hand. And I'm like, are you drinking? She said, yeah, but that's besides the point. I was like, I ain't trying to hold your hand, lady. She goes, oh my God, you'll understand afterwards. Put the palm of your hand on my hand. I'm like, very slowly. And she sat there for like 10 minutes just staring right into my eyes like this, like. And then she would look down, and then she would look at me, and then she would pause, and I'm like, at this point, I'm 15, and this lady was like 62 years old, and this white-haired chick, and she looks at me and she goes, do you know anything about yourself? I said, a lot of weird stuff happens around me. And I laughed, because I feel like I'm going crazy. She said, this may sound like a kind of crazy question, and you might think I'm cuckoo bananas for saying it, but do you speak to people that are deceased, or have you ever? And I said, they try to communicate with me, but I kind of have that door closed. She said, no, you don't. She said, you have the door halfway closed. And she just started saying stuff like that like I didn't understand at the time. And she's like, you have a lot of things that are out of control. She said, you have picked up things throughout the years growing up due to anger, frustration, or just emotion. She says, you have attached more things than what you were born with. And she says, until you figure out how to control your stuff, she says, you can just, it's like tornado, you're just going to spin tornadoes off of you. And I'm just looking at her and I'm like, what stuff? She said, oh my God. And I said, lady, I said, come on, stop pulling my chain here. She said, okay. She said, this conversation is over. She said, when you get older, she says, things will start to piece together and you'll understand. But she goes, I don't really know how to have a conversation like this with the 15-year-old that is delirious. That's how she put it. Is delirious of things. So, it's just, I would have awkward conversations like that with elders. And I'm like, this bitch is crazy. This bitch is off her rocker. But when I didn't Google my astrology until I was like 18, 19, 20s. And I went deep. I went into like the whole rabbit hole of it. And of course, because of brain damage, I can't retain a lot. But I do know it said that I was a star child. I was pure heart and soul, and I've had many elders tell me that, and I didn't even know what the hell that was or what it meant. And I know I make videos of saying stuff like that, but I'm not one of those. I'm not a gloating kind of person. There's a lot of people out there. Like, I don't know everything about it, but there's a lot of people out there who really know very little about the paranormal. So sometimes I'll just, do my homework and I'll make videos to try to help other people understand it a little better who want to understand it and know about it. Because they want to learn about themselves, but some of them don't know where to start. So basically, that's where I'm coming from with that kind of thing. And maybe I will be a little off every once in a while because, unfortunately, I've had this stuff since I was born. But unfortunately, because of brain damage of being kicked in the head 5 damn times by an ex, I'm still getting my stuff back. And I'm kind of glad it's coming back to me and it's not gone for good. I hope the rest of it turns out that way because I look at it in the way of like, I've sacrificed and I've fought my whole entire life. Like, no pun intended, to like, so many times I didn't think I'd make it out. And because of those things, I still believe today is why I'm still sitting here today. So, I need them to come back because a lot of that is a defense mechanism for me. Because, like, I'm in that lane of who I am. Who am I without it? What is my purpose without it? I don't know no other way of being without that stuff. Because I've had it for so long. So that would be really weird. Let me see, what other paranormal stories do I have? Oh, I got a paranormal story here. So, me and my husband are highly, like, spiritual people, but we're not in that lane. If you get me, we're not in that lane. And, we were sitting up one night. Our go-to is Bud Light. We were drinking, he was sitting in a recliner, I was sitting on the couch. And he got wasted. Well, something came into him. And I swear to God, I stayed up till like 5 o'clock in the morning that night. And and I knew it wasn't him because I could look in his eyes and there was nothing there. And I'm just like, I'm trying to stay awake because I'm not trying to go to sleep because I don't want to know what I wake up to in the morning. He was sitting in the recliner and he had like a box cutter to his throat. It wasn't Frank. Frank is not even like, his thing is, he goes, that's a bitch way out. I'll never do that. I could tell, like, there was something else there. And it just kept saying, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. And I just kept nodding and out. I'm like, will you please put that down and go to bed? And it was just like black. His eyes were just black. And I don't even know, like, how that night ended or whatever, because I think I assed out right there on the couch sitting up. I woke up in the morning and he was getting up, making coffee and stuff, so. But that was fucking scary. Like, because I could see, like, I didn't see a spirit, but, like, at this time, I had pretty much completely closed it out of seeing them. And I would see, like, a silhouette, like an outline of, like, a black smoke silhouette behind him. So I knew there was definitely something there. It was like, because his chair was in front of the corner. It was just big black, and it was like 8 feet tall. And it was just like a big black cloud. And my chest felt like really tight, like somebody was standing on it. It was so crazy. It was freaking insane. Oh man, I'm gonna have to write down some paranormal stories because I can't remember them all. But let me kind of scroll up here. Okay, y'all are pretty much just listening. Okay, just making sure I didn't miss no comments or nothing. Thank you for sharing the live stream. I appreciate you. Okay, I got you. And I got a better understanding of why people's pictures are black or something like that. Yes, it could be like a lurker account. It could be a bot, but it also could be like a trauma survivor that cannot show their face. So they want to be on TikTok, but, you know, they don't want to be compromised. And I get that to the fullest, so. But the user thing. Put a name. At least put a name in there. Put a name in there. I don't care if it has numbers at the end of it, but like Ashley 1568 or something. Just a name. And so a lot of people are like, you didn't follow me back. I'm like, because your name says user 1265984. Like, that's sus. Put a name. You know. And that's all she wrote. Oh man, it's so humid out here tonight. I know it's not spring or whatever, but spring cleaning for me is whenever the hell I'm scrubbing my house down and bleach wiping walls. That's spring cleaning. I don't care what frickin' season it is. It's spring cleaning. And then when I'm done, I have like the energy of a gnat, and I'm like, just want to sit down. I'd be like, I am so wore out. Because I do like once a month. I can't really take a strong sense of bleach. Once a month, I will bleach wipe all my walls, and my husband will come in and go, "Oh my god, I can't breathe." And I'm like, well, I gotta clean my walls. I cut down on the bleach about half. You know, I'd put like probably 2 or 3 capfuls of bleach in my bleach water and my mop water. So. And then I would dunk my rag in it and then wipe down my walls. Because I'm a smoker. And I should smoke outside, but with my nerve damage and stuff, I'd be going outside a lot. And it's humid outside. And I guess I'm just lazy. It's easier to just light up in my living room. But I'm the one that cleans the house. I'm the one that's bleach wiping the walls. I'm the one that's doing this, and that. So, like, you know. I got this. I don't use, like, I research a lot of stuff. I won't use patches or nothing like that because it's hard to be like, oh, these patches can have cancer agents and stuff like that, and then, and his, his friend, maintenance guy, was like, well, the really good ones, you get prescribed by a doctor, and, you use those ones, but I don't have a primary, and our vehicle's not really working right now, so. Oh, they want me to go to the hospital and they want me to get checked and all this stuff, and I really don't want to freaking do it. Hold on, got that puzzle thing going on. Yeah, me and my husband are anti-hospital because of everything that's going on and the fact that you can't, all that stuff, yes, I'm going there, like all that stuff that went down and the 8,000 files, and there wasn't a profession untouched or unscathed, and it just really opens your eyes to, like, when I'm going to the doctor, when I'm going to the hospital, like, are they just trying to collect their paycheck, because a lot of them were just malpractice and things are happening to women, and just, it's just bad juju, and it's just like, no, I'll take a Tylenol, I'll take some throat spray, or I'll take some cold medicine, or, I'm gonna dose myself at home, because at least I know what I'm taking, I know what's going in my body. Yeah, it's pretty sad that our world is coming to that, and we can't even trust our doctors, we can't trust our cops, we can't trust, our government officials, because we don't know if they're about diversity and about the people and about, all the, about their title and what their title is supposed to represent and stuff like that. What their badge is supposed to represent. It's not like that anymore. It really isn't. And I know I'm, like, really deep in the rabbit hole of watching about the celebrities and the E and the P and the J and the B, Bay, and stuff like that. But, I want to know. These are rap artists, these are people, these are celebrities, and I've always known, like, I've always, like, made those videos, like, hey, if you want to get your name out there, do this, this, and that, in the industry, this, and that, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody or lowball, but you got these people that are, like, they want to get big rich, or get rich quick, and, they're using the artists, and they don't care of, like, what they have to go through to get to where they need to be, or to get to that, milestone or whatever, and then at the same time the artist is the one paying for it, and they're the one suffering in the process. And it's not cool. They spent their whole lives, 90% of the majority that I've watched, because I've watched backstories on the celebrities and stuff like that, where they came from and how they came up in the world, and believe it or not, most of them came from poverty. And if you come from poverty and you actually make it and you're big time, and then you finally get in the door and you have to deal with all of this exec stuff and all this stuff of NDAs and all this stuff, and the rabbit hole gets really deep, like, that's not fair to that artist, because, like, they fought their whole lives, and then they're like, I made it. And then now you got more mental health than what you had before. It's just, I don't know. I guess I'm in a dream world or something where I feel that people should have dignity, they should have self-respect, they should have respect for other people, they should be considerate, where would you be to like record labels and stuff like that? Like, where would you be today without your artists? Like, literally, where would you be without your artists? Because your artist sells albums, they bring in revenue so that the label gets paid. But if you don't have artists to sing songs and to make albums, unless you're doing it yourself, where's your revenue coming from? So my point is, you got to take care of your artists. If you take care of your artists will take care of you. They'll produce the albums, it's a good deal. It's not a raw deal. They'll be like, this dude's got me, this producer's got me, this manager's got me. They're not going to come me over, I got you. You got me, I got you. That's the way it should be. If you got me, I got you. Complete transparency. But it's not like that anymore. That's why I'm always like telling people, start your own record label. Start your own label. Even if you don't have licenses or anything like that, because of course everybody says that you need licenses and you need this and you need that. No, you don't. Start it. Get you a couple of artists signed. Take that money. Put it towards one of the licenses or whatever that you need. Sign another artist. Take that money or half of that money. Put it towards this that you need for your record. There's other ways of doing things. There's other ways around it. You can start small. A lot of people start bands in their freaking garages. Like, come on. The 80s and the 90s, they had bands in their garages. Like, if they can do it, you can improvise and be creative about it. And you don't have to deal with all the... And, there's a lot of industry executives and record label execs and owners and stuff like that are not, they're honorable people. There are people out there, there are record labels out there that are honorable, that are, genuine. But to find them, it's like kind of rock and a hard place, because 8,000 people, that's a lot of people. How do we trust our government at this point? And everybody's like, oh God, here we go. It's not like a political thing, but like, how could somebody have that much influence on every government official in our world? That's scary. That our government officials and our doctors and all that stuff, that they can be bought by the Benjamins. When you get the real government, let's say, like, you take a judge and, a judge is trying to be paid off, you get it? And then, like, in the aspect where the judge is saying, my dignity is worth more than your payoff. Basically, that's what I mean. That's basically what I mean. There's none of that anymore. But it is what it is, right? We can't change the world. We'll probably, talk about things like this like a million frickin' times, and they probably still won't do nothing about it. Because 99% or 80% or whatever, like 8,000 people. And I'm pretty sure that number grew. Like, my point is, like, where's the good cops? Where's the good judges? The doctors, all that, politicians, all the people that can't be bought. Like, where are you at? The people that cannot be bought. Those for this government and this nation and for the people. Like, the ones that be like, you, Bonnie, can't buy me because I'm here for the people. Like, where are they at? Like, those are the people that I support. The people that are, like, for diversity. The ones that say, I don't like that word, and, I wish they would make, like a law to rule out that word, like they can say it because, but I don't think that white people and people that are not of that nationality should be able to say that. I think it should be illegal. I feel it should be illegal. It causes problems. But that's just the way I believe. That's a fucking disgusting ass word. I wish the whole God thing, I wish he would have came up with a better title, because that's fucked up. It just sounds wrong. I don't know. Call me crazy or whatever. I don't think that's a justified title. I really don't. I think the best thing that I've heard yet was people of color. Um, that's even better than you know, it sounds bad. And, just, I guess my point is, I feel like they deserve to have a better title than that. But that's just me. I have dandruff real bad. But I let my hair go greasy. Every once in a while, it's good to let your hair go greasy so the oils and botanicals and stuff can grow back into your hair. So I'm in that thing right now. Yeah. I dyed my hair. It's blonde. Well, it's not really blonde. See, blonde to me is white. Or close to white. Blonde hair dyes are more of like a yellow. I freaking hate yellow blonde hair dye. I need to buy 2 boxes of white and see if I can get it to come out. Thank you for the follow, Michelle. I appreciate you. My eyes are kind of blurry and I don't know why. My blood pressure shouldn't be up because I've been in a fairly good mood today. And again, I'm smoking cigarettes, so there's that. Trying to think. Now, I have paranormal stories, like when me, my husband, and my daughter used to live in Titusville. It's kind of a sad one, though. You know, everybody's got their soul dog, and it's very rare that you'd find your soul dog. And our dog, I love my dog to death, but that's actually my husband's dog. And I finally found my soul dog. His name was Joker. I named him Joker. And he was one of those dogs that came up to you and he would lick the very tip of your nose with the very tip of his tongue. He was so gentle. Oh my god, I love that dog. But anyways, we had a poltergeist in our house. And my daughter's room, we're an old country family. We don't mess around with our own type of thing. So I'd be go get in bed with your dad. You know, nobody's gonna mess with your dad because he had a strong buff kind of aura, spirits and stuff like that would never mess around with him. Would never mess with him. They do here, but they didn't there. And she go sleep, cover her, go sleep, normal stuff. And that night that I'm talking about, I heard this and I slept on the couch because my daughter's safety means the world to us. I don't care about what somebody would, whatever. It's all about safety at this point. And she felt safe when around her dad, so. But I slept on a couch. I'm I don't care, her safety means, So, and then I heard the banging and I heard this, how you slide your bed across the floor and just the sound it makes. And I was like, God damn. And Frank heard it and he got up and he went to open her door and her bed was completely on the other side of the room, flipped upward, standing straight up. Her room is trashed. He's like, we gotta get out of here. Well, we had our dogs, and because our dogs would flip out, we had 2 dogs. We had an American Pit. It's the brown one with the eye rings around his eyes. It's rare, and he was old. He was like 9 years old. And then I had Joker, my soul dog. He was the sweetest freaking thing. I tell you, that dog protected the hell out of me. And so we kept them in the room because they would flip out and they would run to the house and stuff like that. And we'd give them like these big nutty professor size like dinner plates, piled full of food, because when we feed them, it looked like their ribs started to show. And it's like, we do not abuse our animals. No fucking how, no way. That shit pisses off us. But it'd be like, no matter how much we fed them, they kept getting skinnier and skinnier. Well, anyways, it came to like, oh, there was a chemical coming through the floor, and so they checked it and checked all the plumbing and stuff like that, and nothing was wrong and everything was fine. And it was kind of like that thing. And then they got so damn really skinny that we had to render them to the pound and stuff like that, because we were like, all right, well, our dogs don't need to be suffering for whatever the hell is going on in our house. And I'm pretty sure the 9-year-old dog passed away, but I'm kind of regretting it because I'm wondering where my dog is at. I got that thing of like, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what became of him. And my husband rendered him to Glencoe SPCA, and I just can't get no information. No closure there of what happened to Mr. Joker. But that was scary, dude, because like we would hear shit like I would make like, because I'm an arts and crafts freak, so I made like stick crosses and I hung them above the bedroom door, and I post like pictures on my TikTok of like the hallway and the cross is standing straight out. The one where the cross is sticking straight out, that's her bedroom. But yeah, I put them over the doorways, and I didn't think that would happen, but that happened. So I've been like having paranormal like experiences since I was little, and it's so scary. It's freaking scary. But that one house that's when I started to have the night terrors. I couldn't move. I felt like paralyzed, and I would see things, and I couldn't run away. I couldn't move. It was like stiff. All my muscles felt like stone. Like I was just like frozen in place. But it's 11 o'clock, so my back is kind of sore. So I think I'm probably gonna go. And I've been playing this Terravit on PlayStation 5. I love it because I love to build. And it's TERAVIT. And I swear to God, I have almost like 40 maps I built. RebK Gamer. Add RebK Gamer if you have a PlayStation 5. Check out Terravit. You can build maps for other people to go and play and explore, and you can do challenges and goals and stuff like that. It's really awesome. I love it. And I've been working on this like HHE Kingdom thing for like 2 months, because I'm like at this goal. I'm like, I want to have one of the biggest freaking maps on Terravit. And because I'm a YouTube gamer. You can check me out. It's RebKaygamer. RebK Gamer. Oh, there it is. It's like my cigarette fell out of my little filter. I use these little tar blockers. But it's getting kind of humid out here. And I know it's been like, a few months since I live streamed. But I figure I was like, I do a live stream. I'm bored. Talk about some paranormal experiences that I dealt with growing up or whatever. And if I think of any other ones, I will write them down so that I could tell y'all about them. On Diva's Den, I think it's Camp Stories or something like that. Rebels Camp Stories, or it's basically the playlist is, I don't know if it's on Diva's Den or if it's on Crutch Haven, but it's camp stories or something like that. It's basically where me and my husband tell paranormal experiences and stuff like that. And he's got a lot of them. I'm trying to get it to where, like, he'll sit down one day and he'll talk about all of his paranormal. Because he's got some interesting things, because he's from New York. He's got some really, really interesting ones. Like, there was a woman, a headless woman. I guess her husband, had chopped off her head, and her body and her head were found in several places. And I guess the headless woman was like, she wanders in the woods or something like that, looking for her head. You know, whatever. There's a little girl on a tricycle who, when he goes sit on a log over by the lake, like, I guess she was dumped in the lake, some guy in a truck, like, hit her and threw her bike in the dumpster. So he's got a lot of New York stories that are really interesting and really in-depth and detailed. So I'm trying to get it to where he'll tell his stories again. It's like I should have recorded it when he told them the first time, but I did not do that. But I'm going to go inside, probably work on my map some more to try and get it finished. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate you. After this processes, I will post it to my TikTok so that whoever wasn't able to watch my video or my live stream, like, I know there's people who they'll DM me, like, damn, I missed it. And I'm like, it's okay, I'll repost it. But usually when I drink, I get fucking stupid. But tonight I didn't, because I'm actually out. So that was my last glass, but I don't need it because my back is acting up. But I wanted to take some time out for my peoples. But I'm gonna go watch some TV and maybe some Kitchen Witches. I love their videos. And when it processes, probably tomorrow, I'll post it to my TikTok tomorrow. But thank you for tuning in. I appreciate and I love you all full-heartedly. I love and I appreciate all the likes, all the love, all the comments. You guys are sweet as hell. You're awesome. Every time I load up my TikTok and I see a sad or video where somebody's posting something and they're just in their feelings, I try to like and reshare and kind of put the prayer hands in there and just be like, you got this. Keep hanging in there. I know it's hard, but you got this. Times are hard. This world is freaking cruel. And we just gotta make it by the best we can with what tools that we have to work with. And for everybody, that's different. But thank you for tuning in. And after I repost this to my TikTok, you guys want me to live stream more? Just put in the comments. You need to live stream more. I get enough people to be like, you need to live stream more. I'll live stream more often. Although usually I write stuff down so that I'm not sitting here looking at the camera and you hear crickets. I usually try to come prepared. But I love and I appreciate you all. When this process is probably tomorrow, I'll repost this live stream to my TikTok, so anybody who's late or didn't see it will be able to watch it. So, and I'll be able to watch it back and save it to my YouTube, because at the end of the day, these are memories I get to look back on. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, keep slaying the day and making it your bitch, because you're worth all the success that comes your way. And don't let anybody tell you any different, because they just jelly. Thank you.